Every Clash Royale player has 4 goals. Hit Ultimate Champion, get a top 10k finish, max out your account and hit 9,000 trophies. And if you haven't done any of these yet, your first goal is probably to hit 9k trophies. And in this video, I'm going to explain exactly how you should do it and how to avoid the mistakes I made to get there even faster. Let's get into it. One of the most important factors which determine whether you will win or lose a game is your deck. Now hopefully it doesn't look like this, otherwise not only is the Clash Royale community severely disappointed in you, but also your mum, your dad, your brother, your grandparents and your dog. But anyways, I'm going to give you a few pointers to building a viable deck. Firstly, you need to have your basic structure. 1 to 2 win conditions, 1 to 2 air defense cards, 1 to 2 splash damage cards, 1 to 3 spells, 1 to 2 tank killers, 1 to 2 mini tanks, 1 to 2 cycle cards, and a defensive building if there's space for 1 more. Obviously some of these cards overlap, like the Witch because she's an air defense card, but she's also a splash damage card. But use this as a general rule in building a deck. Now because I'm making a video for you guys under 9k trophies and not just general deck building advice, I'm also going to give you some recommendations. So, I highly recommend the Fireball. I remember the days when every deck I would verse had Witch, Wizard, Firecracker, Ewiz. Fireball absolutely destroys these. So even if it's a low level for you at the minute, try and level it up and see how it goes. Next, you need to be able to counter the heart and soul of Trophy Road, Mega Knight. I would highly recommend you use 1 or even 2 of these cards. Knight, Mini P.E.K.K.A, Inferno Tower, Minions, Bats, Mighty Mana, Prince. On Trophy Road, Mega Knight has around an 18% usage rate. However, that counts the arenas before you can unlock Mega Knight, so I would guess it has around a 30% usage rate, meaning you're going to be versing it on average every 3 games. To finish off decks, one of my biggest pieces of advice is to stick with 1 deck. Try and learn it and stick with it. Use your resources, your gold, your magic items, and put them all into this 1 deck, and I can guarantee you, once you get used to the deck and level it up, climbing will be 10 times easier. Away from decks now, I have actual in-game advice for you, which you may or may not need depending on how good you are. And that's to stop playing stuff at the bridge. This happens all the time, especially when the match just starts. You'll think, I'm going to try and catch them off guard. I'll play Firecracker at the bridge. And then what happens? They defend it easily, or if they're smart, they'll get a free king activation. And I know you guys have done it, because I used to do it. And yes, sometimes it does actually work. But that's like 10-20% of the time. It's just not worth the risk. But it's not even just Firecracker, it's any card. Sometimes I even see matches where you load in, the timer says 2 minutes 58, and then, yeah, it happens. I can guarantee some of you watching this have done it. Most of the time it's better to wait for your opponent to make the first play, but if you want to, just play it behind your king. Moving on, the next tip I can give you is to control your tilt. You need to have effective tilt management to climb trophies. Now for those of you that don't know what I mean by tilt, it's basically getting frustrated and angry. So when you lose a game, you need to honestly ask yourself if you played well. If you did, play again. If not, go off the game for at least an hour. Because frustration and anger builds up fast, and sometimes, even after the first game, I want to throw my phone at the wall. So let the anger and frustration drain out. Now, if you decided to play a second game and you lose again, doesn't matter if you think you played well, go off the game and come back to it later, because chances are, you're probably already a bit mad, and playing mad makes you play worse, which makes you even angrier, and it can continue like that until you smash your phone with a hammer and then cry because you can't control your emotions over a mobile game. The next piece of advice is incredibly boring, but it will produce amazing results for you if you actually do it. And that's to watch your game back if you lost. If you lose a game in Clash Royale, you will have made a mistake somewhere, even if your ego is telling you otherwise. So once you've lost, watch the replay by pressing the 3 lines, and then pressing battle log, and then watch. Then you can critique your own game by watching and learning what mistakes you made, and this will mean that you are aware of that mistake, and now you know not to do that again. Now doing this is pretty boring, especially after every single loss, but if you want to improve at the fastest rate, this is essential to do. Not watching out for your opponent's spells is one of the biggest mistakes players on Trophy Road make. And while it may sound pretty simple, I can guarantee 99% of you still make this mistake. So for example, you're a Sparky player and you load into a game and start with a Sparky at the back. And then Rocket comes flying towards your tower, absolute nightmare, and then 40 seconds later you're going to do the same thing and he gets more Rocket value. What I mean by this is, if your opponent can take down a card in one hit and hit the tower with a spell, they are more than likely going to. So don't play your Sparky at the back again, play it in the middle so that they can't get Rocket value. And this isn't only for Sparky, it's for a Lightning on Archqueen, Witch, Wizard, it's for Fireball and Magic Arch and Mother Witch and Zappies, and so many more that I can't possibly list without making this video 45 minutes long. So to summarise this tip, work out what spells your opponent is playing and don't give them value on them. Learning all of these tips in total can skyrocket your trophy count and overall make you a better Clash Royale player.